Hey everyone, Lance again from Epics'N'Stuffs, and welcome back to the channel and another hobby haul. Let's get straight into it. This is some stuff that I've accrued over the last couple of days, some of it from Element Games, Watercolors, and then also some bits I picked up from Amazon, a mishmash of stuff really. So let's just get straight into it. This video might be going out weeks after the Element Games Warboot, but this is when I picked this stuff up. I was made aware online from a gentleman called Christian on one of my YouTube streams when I was doing some painting of a Nicpro miniature from Breath of Fire 3. He let me know that the Warboot was on. I'd never heard of it before. Element Games is about 30-40 minute drive away from us, so we popped down early in the morning as early as we can to see whether or not there was anything we could pick up. I was more interested in like hobby tools or board games. There was a metric F-ton of stuff for Warhammer, as you would expect, and loads of people. It was crowded, man. It was super tight. Anyway, we had a look around, didn't pick anything up from the actual Warboot itself, but as you do when you're in one of these hobby stores, you're going to have a look around and you're going to end up picking some stuff up. So what did I pick up from Element Games? We'll quickly go through that. Moonstone, board game. So this comes with, this is the starter pack, and I believe it comes with some miniatures. So you've got some miniatures in the back, on the back there. All these come in size. You get like a card deck, a dice set, measuring widget, tokens, everything you need to actually just get started. They had some of the miniatures out pre-painted at Element Games, and they look really fun. And the one that tickled us in particular is we actually have a pug, and this pug night, what's he called? Doug the Flatulent. Yep, sounds about right. I guess it's based on Doug the Pug. He made us laugh, so we thought we would pick this up and give that a shot at some point, now that we're starting to play some small games. So, Moonstone. Any dice that my girlfriend lays her eyes on that have a tinge of purple to them, she'll want picking up, so some cheap dice. I rate these MDF cutout things from places like, I mean, Element Games does some of their own, but Green Stuff World, only a couple of pounds. That's 20 times 25 millimeter holes, and that is for a display piece that I want to do. I want to do a lot of 25 millimeter miniatures and just pop them in there and have them on display. So that's something I'm working towards. What else from Element Games? So a new wet palette. I've got myself the Army Painter, the smaller wet palette. I've got two of them actually, one for me and one for the missus. And in the past, I've used one of my own pre-made wet palettes, which was good, you know, for the first one or two miniatures that I actually bothered doing way back when. And then I picked up the Army Paint ones, and I've loved them so far. I love how they hold your brushes as well, so they're great for travel. So I'm still going to be using them, but you know, everybody rates this Everlasting Wet Palette by Redgrass Games. I think I wanted a larger one anyway, and the reusable film or pads or whatever it comes with, the paper, the reusable paper, sounded like you know, something quite economical. So I'm gonna give this a shot. Potentially got another wet palette incoming to try as well, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, Redgrass Games wet palette Studio XL2. Also from Element Games, I've picked up some of these MP miniature paints. So I've heard mixed stories about these. I've heard some people say like they're very thin, so you need multiple coats. That doesn't bother me, but the finish is good. So I bought the primer, which I think was like £3 or £4. I thought I'd give that a shot, black primer. I've been using the Vallejo stuff. I've used Citadel and Army Paint stuff in the past, and the Vallejo stuff, I believe, kicks their asses. It's strange because I've watched other videos where people, there was one girl or woman who said, you know, the Vallejo stuff was really bad, and then the Citadel stuff was best. You know, each to their own. In my experience, through an airbrush, the Vallejo stuff, it's a night and day difference. And then I've bought some of the MP paints themselves, some of them in colours that interested me. So white, I always like to try the whites and see how they compare to, like, you know, Bold Titanium from Pro Acryl or the Model Colour White, which are really good. The good thing about these is that these were, I think, between £1.76 and £2, 3p, depending on which one you picked up. And they're 30ml. Yeah, 30 milliliters. So, you know, almost double some of the other brands. And, you know, a considerable amount more than what you get in a Citadel pot for less money. So these seem like a good thing to try out. I got a lot of like maroons and fuchsia, what is it? Lilac, lupin, whatever that is, plum red. So, and a grass green. So that'll be interesting to try at some point. And then that's what I got from Element Games. Watercolors. So I saw these in a video a while back, and people said they were okay. So I went onto the Watercolors website. I was like, okay, I'll be interested in trying some if the price is right. And they do like a blind box, which is of a reasonable price. So I got the blind box. I got the blind box, and it came all the way from, I want to say, Greece. These are 15 milliliters, so they're not as big as, you know, some other brands, but I believe they're, you know, they're made by, they're indie made. They're made by an individual or something like that. They're a small business. Anyway, they've come. This is the blind box. Some metallics are in there, and then they've got some of their regular acrylics, and it gives you on it an indicator of how opaque it is. So according to this one's quite transparent. This yellow here, metallic yellow. Okay, that might be semi-opaque. You got metallic red, opaque. So that's quite cool that they give you that indication. This blind box in particular, I don't know if they're all the same, or they're made in bundles or batches, or they're just randomly picked. There's a lot of transparent ones, which leads me to believe like these might take quite a few layers to actually get fully opaque. But again, nonetheless, I thought the price was right for a blind box bundle. It's worth giving it a punt. No doubt some of these will probably be like clearance colours or whatever. But I'll give them a shot, and if I like any of them in particular, I can go back and pick up the ones I do want. Anyway, they're from Watercolors. Some stuff from Amazon. So I thought I'd get these. I've been using some army painted brushes, and I found them quite nice. I know the Rotmada Sable brushes are not necessarily as premium as most Kolinsky Sable brushes, or some Kolinsky Sable brushes, but in my experience so far with the Rotmada Sables from Army Painter, they've been okay. So I thought I'll try this game set, which has a slightly different arrangement to the brushes I've already got. And then this, give me 1 second to open this. So this is from like some, I don't know, some random brand called Warboot or something like that from Amazon. Now I've bought a lot of like synthetics from Amazon, some from Warboot, W-Lot, what else have I got? E-Boot, and then some from a slightly less unknown brand called Nicpro, like the Nicpro stuff that I've got. I've got a bunch of their Nicpro Sables. I'll show these whilst I'm here. I'll be probably speaking about these in the future when I talk about brushes. So that's their Sable brushes. They were really, really good value for money. There's some I'd probably never use, but you know, per brush, they were quite cheap Sables. And from what I've used, I've only used them once, a couple of them once, and they were fine so far. But I keep them at the moment just out of the way whilst I'm using my other brushes that I'm deep into using. I wanted another bag like this, and there's a lot, you know, that bag is probably some generic thing from AliExpress or whatever, and Nicpro have just branded it. Fair enough. I like that set from what I've used. And I actually really rate the Nicpro synthetics. Again, I'm going to talk about brushes in a video in future. Anywho, back to this. I bought this because I wanted the bag, and these bags are around about £10 anyway. And for £13 on Amazon from this Wulia or whatever they were called, you got a set of synthetics as well. So them are just going to go onto my wall of synthetics. And I'm actually going to use the bag for some of my Kolinsky Sable and these Army Painter Rockmada sable brushes. So I'll be putting that in there with the rest of them, and that can go up on the shelf. I often go to pick the Nicpro synthetic brushes off my shelf for most of the mundane work and the big brush work. So, you know, I do rate the Nicpro stuff so far. These ones I've not tested yet, but we'll see how they go when I get around to picking some of them up. Anywho, that was the haul. So some random bits, board game, new wet palette, some new paints to test, which were reasonably priced, and some new brushes. And that is it for this hobby haul. As usual, if you want to support the channel, there's some affiliate links down below to some of the kit we do use, which will probably update in future. We also have a Patreon. You can support us on Patreon. You don't get nothing for the support. There's loads of miniatures that are available on the Patreon, right? So go into the description below, check out the Patreon, grab yourself some free STLs, and show any support. A like and subscribe as well if you like the video and you want to support the channel in that way. It's free. Anywho, thanks a bunch. Take care. Speak soon. Have fun.